What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Life After Lockup Season 5, Episode 47, The Sex Whisperer. Let's get into Daniel and Bianca. So Daniel has been out from prison now for about a month. Bianca tells him that their sex could still be better. They are still struggling in the bedroom department. Bianca's whole issue is that there's not enough foreplay between them before they get down to the nitty gritty. So by the time that Daniel is ready to go to work, Bianca is not where she needs to be to enjoy it. And her whole thing is that he does not understand the female anatomy. He has not found that particular spot that could help get her going. And I'm not understanding why Bianca has not just shown this man exactly where it's at. Take that man's hand and guide it to where it needs to go. Get a flashlight, draw a diagram, a map, whatever you got to do. I don't understand why it's taken a month of him not being able to find the spot when she could have just told him exactly where it was. So, anywho, she suggests that they go to a intimacy coach to help them with their issues. So they get to the intimacy coach, and she has them sit in a really intimate position. They're sitting on the floor. Daniel is sitting like Indian style, and she has to sit in his lap like she's straddling him. So they can be physically close, look deep into each other's eyes as they go through this intimacy exercise. So the coach wants them to explore their fears, their desires, what they love about each other, what they don't like about each other, etc. And I thought that this particular exercise was a good exercise. They both took it seriously, and I thought that a lot was revealed during this process. So I'm not going to go through all the things that they disclosed because it's going to take too much time, but it was a good exercise, and I thought that they learned a lot about each other. So the coach then asks, what is their status, their relationship status? Daniel says that they're boyfriend and girlfriend, and Bianca was like, what? She was like, no, you remember you asked me to marry you, so we're engaged. And Daniel says, well, we can't be engaged because you don't have a ring. Yes, I did ask you to marry me, but it's not an official engagement or proposal without a ring. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, it could still be an official engagement and proposal without a ring. I think a proposal is just, will you marry me? And the other person says yes. I think that makes y'all engaged. I think the ring is a symbol of that. It symbolizes that agreement between the two of you. But I don't think it is a requirement for two people to consider themselves engaged, because people can get married also, I think, without rings. So I don't think that a ring is going to make or break an engagement or a proposal, but it's okay, Daniel, if you want to rescind your proposal, if you want to bring your relationship back a notch to boyfriend and girlfriend status, but let's not play here and act like y'all were not engaged when you asked her to marry you. So it is an engagement, or it was an engagement, and now you just scaled it back to regular boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. So obviously Bianca didn't like the fact that he doesn't consider them engaged anymore. After that, they go on a double date with Daniel's friend Gator and Gator's fiance Celeste. So when the two women go off on their own, Bianca tells Celeste all the issues that she's having with Daniel. Like I said, whenever Bianca has a chance to talk to anybody about Daniel, it's going to be her complaining about him. So she complains expeditiously about Daniel, saying that how he took back the proposal, or he doesn't consider them engaged, and how she had done so much for this man, all the things that she did for him in prison, putting money on his books, keeping up communication with him in prison, and how she moved halfway across the country to be with him, all the things that she's put into this relationship. And kind of like, she's thinking, how dare he consider me just a girlfriend when I'm so much more than that, especially when he asked me to marry him. So Daniel tells his friend, because the guys are playing darts, so they're talking about their relationships, and Daniel tells his friend that yes, he understands that Bianca wants to get married, but he doesn't think that they are mentally and financially ready for that. He also tells his friend that they argue a lot, they bicker a lot. And I'm going to have to agree with Daniel. I understand that, I don't understand. What I don't understand is why Bianca doesn't understand that prison relationships are very different from real life relationships. In prison, these men and women will promise you the moon and stars, okay? They will give you the whole world if you leave it up to them while they're in prison. They'll ask you to marry them, they'll promise their lives to you, and all this other stuff. But once they come out into the real world, that's all going to change. And I think that she should have had that expectation that, maybe he asked me to marry him in the heat of the moment. Maybe, you know how it is when they're in prison. They're lonely, they're desperate for affection, they're desperate for attention, and so they'll say whatever. I don't understand why she doesn't get that. And you're on a show, Bianca, where this happens every single season with like the majority of the couples. It's one way in prison, it's completely different on the outside. So, like, do you not watch the show that you signed up for? You've never seen a single episode of any of these franchises for you to know that in prison it's completely different? Like, I don't understand why she's so confused on why he's acting different on the outside than he did when he was behind bars. So, when they all four of them now are sitting around the table together having drinks, and the friend tells both of them that they probably need to live together for a while before they make a commitment to each other. And Bianca didn't like that because she wants her commitment right now. She wants the ring, she wants to set a wedding date, she wants this relationship to progress quickly. So she didn't like it when the friend told them, kind of slow down a little bit, live together for a while to determine if y'all are really compatible. So the friend then asked Daniel if, because the friend is engaged to his woman and they're planning a wedding. And so the friend asked Daniel, will you be in my wedding? And Daniel, of course, accepted. Now, Bianca was upset because she felt like, Daniel should have stood up for her more, should have sided with her more when the friend told them to kind of slow down a little bit. She wanted Daniel to be on her side and to say, we don't need to slow down. We're going at the right pace and we're going to be getting married soon. And so when he didn't say any of that, she got upset and she whined and she pouted and then she left in a huff. And she didn't want to film anymore. And she got in her car and she was driving off, and I guess leaving Daniel there. So, that was typical Bianca. She's really young. This is something that I don't think she bit off way more than she could chew when she decided to get with a guy like Daniel. Number one, like besides him having a lot of issues with addiction and getting his life back together, Daniel to me also is like a little bit more mature. Well, he is older than her, so he better be more mature than her. But I think he thinks things through a little bit better than she does, and he's more level-headed. And I don't understand why Bianca is in such a rush. I think Bianca is dealing with personal issues. I don't know what her history is with her family, her parents, etc., past relationships, other than her, losing a baby. I don't know like what other trauma she's gone through, and of course her accident. But there's some type of void in her that she is trying to desperately fill up with a baby and a husband. I don't even think she sees Daniel as a person. I think she sees Daniel as a stand-in for this fantasy that she's created of a husband. I don't even think she really sees Daniel, really understands Daniel as a person. It's like maybe that's another reason why she decided to find a man purposely who was incarcerated, because she thought it was going to be really easy. These men are so desperate to be with a woman that anybody that gives them a little bit of attention, they're going to be happy about it. They're going to hurry up and want to get married and have babies. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why she decided to date an inmate. I don't know, but there's something going on with Bianca that she is trying to fix by just like trying to just lose herself in a relationship instead of like getting to the root of her issues and trying to figure out what is making her so desperate to marry someone that she really doesn't know, and to have a baby with someone who she has no idea would be a good partner for her, would be a good father. She has no idea, and she wants to hurry up and have a baby with this man. But anywho, let's move on to Joey and Kimberly. So Joey and Kimberly, they're out house hunting, and the house that they've fallen in love with is $219,000. So the real estate agent tells them that, you need to hurry up and put an offer. It's going to be 3%, blah, 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 if you want this house. Now, Joey is supposed to have already started working, but he's having a hard time finding a job because of his background. Kim only makes $1,600 per month. She also gives $2,500 in child support, but the mortgage is going to be $1,500 on this house that they want. So the plan is to ask her dad for money to put down on an offer for the house. So they go back and forth on who is going to be the one to ask the father. Joey tells Kim, it's your dad, you should ask. Kim wants him to do it because I think she wants him to step up and be a man and, be the one to ask the father. So unfortunately, ends up being Joey. So the father shows up and Joey asks the dad, tells the dad, we found a house. It's a really good house, et cetera, et cetera. The price range is a little bit out of our budget, but the houses within our budget really weren't that great and really wouldn't be great for, raising kids in. So the house that they want is about $200,000 and they need a certain percentage to put down or whatever. So he asks the father for $7,000. The father was like, okay, that's a lot of money that you're asking for. And if you want me to give you this money, I need you to like be better, do better. I'm expecting a lot from you. And I want you to step up to the plate and do what you got to do to take care of Kim and these boys. So I'm going to give you the money. It is a loan. They're just going to borrow it. It is definitely a loan, but he needs to see some major changes in Joey. So he agrees to give them the money. The father tells us that I'm really only doing this for Kim and her children. I could care less about Joey, but Joey needs to step up. So after that, they go to the bank to open up an account. I didn't know if it was an account just for Joey or if it was an account, like a joint account for both of them. I really didn't understand, but they go to the bank to open up a bank account. And Kimberly is noticing that Joey is acting a little bit suspicious. He had to have his phone because the bank employee wanted to set up the bank app on their phones. And so they needed to both have their phones with them. But Joey's phone, he said, was in the car. So he goes to the car, I think, and then he came back and then he tells Kimberly, oh, it's not in the car. I don't know where my phone is. So she thought that that was kind of odd. So he was acting really strange, like he really wasn't acting himself, like acting overly tired, just not really there. And so she asked him, are you okay? And he was like, of course I'm okay. What do you mean if I'm okay? He got a little bit defensive. So after they leave the bank, he drives them to an automotive shop. And she's like, what the hell are we doing here? And he says, I want to look at some subwoofers or some speakers for his car. And she's like, you see, this is what really gets me about you is that you are wanting to spend, 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 spend. Mind you, this man has no job. He's bringing in no income. But then again, he wants to buy rims. He wants to buy speakers for his car. And it's like, you have no job though. So you don't have the luxury of of trying to buy these unnecessary items. Okay, like what are you doing? So she's like, no, we're not going to be buying any speakers. She tells him, this is just stupid. It's ludicrous. We're not going to do this. So he gets upset. He gets upset because he just wants to do something for himself. And I don't know why that's a selling point for him to say, well, I just want to do something for myself. You don't deserve to do anything for yourself other than get yourself a job. So they get into an argument and he refuses to drive her back home. So she gets in the car and he walks off and she's begging him to come in the car and to go home with her. And he wants to call a friend to come pick him up. So she's driving around following him and begging him to come into the car. So he finally relents and he decides to go home with her. When they get back to the house, his mom is babysitting her kids. So Joey goes straight into the bedroom to lay down. Kimberly takes this opportunity to talk to his mother and she asks his mother, have you noticed anything unusual about Joey? Do you see him acting suspicious in any kind of way? The mom was like, I don't really have anything to do with Joey. He doesn't call me. He doesn't come see me. I really have no contact with Joey, so I really don't know. So then Kim says, well, I think he might be back on drugs. And the mom is like, I don't know. He might be, especially if he's hanging out with people from his old life. There's a high probability that he might be on drugs. And this absolutely devastates Kim because she kind of expected the mom to be like, oh no, Joey's not on drugs. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. But because the mom was like, girl, I don't know. And there's a good chance that he might be if he's, hanging out with his old friends. This got her really worried because, the mom just really did not reassure her the way that she wanted to be reassured. So the next day, She goes into the room. Kimberly goes into the bedroom and she wakes Joey up for church. Joey tells her he's not feeling good and he's in a lot of pain. And he hadn't been feeling good all night long. So she decides to call the doctor. She gets the doctor on the phone, the doctor's office on the phone. They want his Medicaid information. And so she tells them they need your Medicaid info. And so he's like, well, I think my Medicaid card is in the car. So then Kim says, I'll go look for it. And he's like, no, I'll go get it. I'll go get it. And she's like, no, you lay down. You're not feeling well. I'll go look for it. He's like, no, you don't have to. So they're like going back and forth. He really does not want her to go through his car. So he ends up going to his car, pretending to look for something. He comes back out. He's like, okay, I can't find it. I don't know where it's at. And so she was like suspicious again. She's like, why doesn't he want me to look through his car? So then she says to us, she's like, well, if he was on drugs or coming off of a high or whatever, he'd be throwing up. The very next scene is Joey in the bathroom throwing up. And then he takes his keys and he's about to walk out the house. And she's like, where the hell are you going? And he's like, look, I need time to myself. I got to take, no, not time to myself. He's like, I got to take myself to urgent care. And she's like, oh, I'll drive you. And he's like, no, I got to go by myself. I got to go by myself. And so he gets in the car and the cars have cameras in them, right? From the show. And so as he's driving off, he's attempting to take off the cameras. So of course, all of this is making it seem as if he's probably back to using. Her father had predicted that within 6 months time or less, Joy was going to be back on drugs. And so it seems like he might be. I remember that one episode on Christmas Day when he took off, like just randomly took off on Christmas Day, Christmas morning, to go somewhere. Lord knows where he went or what he did. And to me, it kind of seemed like he went out there to try to, look for something. And so Joey might be back on drugs again. And Kimberly was crying and talking about, oh, I love this man so much, but I have to choose my kids over him. Yes, girl, you should have chosen your kids over him before this man even came out of jail. There was I don't know if Kim is like stuck in the past and she's trying to relive her high school days by being with the guy that she had the biggest crush on. I don't know if that's what this woman is trying to do, but I just didn't see anything remotely, um, like I'm not gonna say attract, but I didn't see for a woman who has children. Okay, for a woman, a grown, mature woman with children, especially small children, I never understood why she was drawn to this man. They got together because he was cheating on her cousin with her, and it's like, girl, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Hopefully, I don't want him to be back on drugs, but if that's what it takes for her to leave this man alone, but I don't want this man to be back on drugs. But I don't think she's going to leave him under any other circumstances. Moving on to Louie and Melissa. So Louie and Melissa are newly engaged and they're going out to eat with Melissa's father and Louie's mother. So when they get to the restaurant, they decide that they're not going to announce their engagement, but they're going to wait and see if their parents notice the ring. So when Louie's mom noticed the ring, she was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And so she looked at the ring and whatever, and there she was shocked. Okay, Louie's mom was very shocked and surprised that Louie proposed to Melissa, and she looked at the ring. She examined it. She said it was a really nice ring. They both told them congratulations, but Louie and Melissa said in their confessional that they expected more of a reaction from their parents. These parents, okay, the father who is obviously going through, some type of a health situation, he wasn't going to be too enthusiastic, but he said congratulations. And I don't think he's too enthusiastic about Louis marrying his daughter. And then the mom who hates Melissa and doesn't want to let her son go for nothing. Like, why would she be overly enthusiastic? Why would you expect this big, huge reaction of, oh my God, we're so happy for you, and all of these emotions when neither one of these parents want y'all to be married? Like, I didn't understand why they said that. So, uh, Louie's mom, she says to us that the ring should have been on her finger. I didn't know what she meant by that. But I have a long running theory about how some women have this unnatural um, obsession with their sons, especially if she was a single mom and raised her son by herself. For some women, not all, but for some women, I've noticed like there's like this, and even if they weren't a single mom, even if they raised their son with the father in the home, for some women, they just have this really crazy attachment to their sons all the way into adulthood. And it reminded me of something that's going on right now on TikTok. People have been talking about or doing videos about this woman who posted a video of her and her son, and the caption read, I should have been your love. I was meant to be your lover, but it ended up as your mother. And she got so much backlash for that. And this is like a teenage boy, like 13, 14 years old, I think. She got so much backlash for that video that she had to take it down. And it's like, how could you write something like that about your kid? I was born, to, I was meant to be your lover, but it ended up as your mother. Y'all, it's just, and I'm not saying that Louie's mom is on that level of creepiness, but this attachment that she has to Louie, it's like, it's crazy because every single time she talks about Louie moving on with his life with Melissa, she breaks down and she starts crying. So she pulls Melissa to the side and they go outside to talk. And she tells Melissa, I thought she was going to say, hey, I understand that. I hope you understand that this is hard for me to let my boy go, but I know you're going to be a good wife for him. I know you love my son. And so I'm just going to have to deal with it, but I'm happy for y'all. Congrats. That's what I thought she was going to tell Melissa in private. But instead, she tells Melissa, my mom loves you, my sister loves you, and they don't understand why I hate you. And I do hate you. Or did she say, and I don't, or they don't understand why I don't like you? I think that's what she said. And they don't understand why I don't like you. And I don't like you. And I was like, how could you tell her that? You don't have to express your deepest, darkest feelings in every single situation to every single person. We understand that you're struggling with letting your son go because I'm pretty sure his mother thinks that she lost a lot of years with Louie while he was incarcerated because he did a bit of time. I think he was there for like almost 10 years. He did a bit of time. And I totally get that she feels like she lost those years with her son. And then as soon as he comes out, he's running off with Melissa. And she's trying to get some of that time back with him. Maybe she feels guilty. Maybe she feels like she's somewhat responsible for him ending up in prison. And she wants the time to make it up to him, to kind of do like a do-over or something. Totally understandable. But this man is going to do what he's going to do. And he's not going to slow down because you're having a hard time letting him go. I think that, you need to talk, she needs to talk to her best friend or she needs to go talk to a therapist or whoever to get all those feelings out. But then when she's around Louie and when she's around Louie and Melissa, she needs to pretend that she's okay with it. And I know that doesn't sound right, to like mask your feelings or whatever, but you're going to, ma'am, you're going to have to learn how to cope. You're going to have to learn how to deal. And you constantly putting it up in their face, how you don't want to let him go. He needs to be with you. The ring should have been yours. It's just weird. Your feelings are absolutely valid, Mama Louie. Absolutely 1,000% valid. But the way that you express them and the way that you communicate them to your son is not healthy. You need to support him. You need to be happy for him. It might not even work out between him and Melissa. But the way that you are, instead of him running back to you, if it doesn't work out with him and Melissa, he's just going to find another Melissa to stay away from you because he wants to be his own man. He doesn't want to be a little boy. Anywho, so Louis interrupts their conversation and he's like, what are you telling my fiance? And so she starts crying and she's like, I just don't want to let you go. And he tells her, you're going to have to let me go. But then she also does acknowledge that he has made major improvements in his life since he's been released and that she is extremely proud of him because he has stayed away from trouble. He has, he's overcoming his addiction and he's turning into like a really productive person, and she's acknowledging that. I thought that was really, really sweet. And let's just end it at that. Michael and Justine. So Michael's mom just found out that Justine's pregnant again, and she was definitely shocked, understandably. but she tries to put a positive spin on it. She says that God doesn't make mistakes. She says that, there was a reason why her house burnt down, and it was probably to bring her to Nevada so that she could help Michael and Justine out with the new baby and the other kids. So everything happens for a reason. And she tells them congratulations, and she appears to be happy for them at the end of the day. Justine's mom still didn't know. And I thought if anybody knew besides the children, it would have been her mom. But even her mom doesn't know that she's pregnant. So Justine and Maria, which is Michael's mom, they are talking in Justine's room, just the two of them. And Maria asks Justine, whose idea was it to keep this pregnancy a secret? And Justine says, it was both of our ideas. Okay, Justine, so you're saying that at the same exact moment, y'all had the same exact thoughts as two separate individuals. Y'all had the same exact thought to come out and say, let's keep this pregnant a secret at the same exact time. Girl, if you don't get out of here with these lies, to me, I think it was Justine's idea because Michael does whatever Justine wants. I think it was Justine's idea to keep it a secret. Come on, let's keep it all the way 100. Justine, it was your idea because you were so scared because you're having issues with Michael's mom. Michael's mom thinks that you're out here, you know, laying it low, spreading the water with everybody else. That he might not be the father of Manhattan and whatever else. She's doubting the paternity of Manhattan. You and your mom don't get along because your mom is sick and tired of you popping out babies. So that's why you wanted to keep it a secret. Michael probably would have preferred to let everybody know. So she says it was both of their idea, but I don't believe it. So Justine says that she was really hurt when Maria wanted a paternity test on Manhattan. And Justine asked Maria, did you ever do a DNA test on my daughter? And Maria says, no, I didn't. And Maria talks about how she is over the whole paternity test thing. She believes that well, she didn't say this, but she's just over the paternity testing thing. She's not going to try to take it. She's not going to try to take any of these kids for a DNA test to see if if they're Michael's. She ain't going to do none of that. She's over that. And she says that she understands that she has to work hard to regain Justine's trust in her. So then she asks Justine if she's going to tell her mother. Well, no, she tells her, you have to tell your mom that you're pregnant. And Justine says that her and her mom's relationship is really rocky right now because her mom is never happy about anything. That might be true, but one thing I know, your mom isn't happy about you constantly having these children. So Justine doesn't want to hear how, because her mom is blunt. Her mom is blunt as hell. Her mom is direct. Her mom is blunt. And so they showed that clip when they were back in whatever state they were in from up north, and they were having dinner with Justine's mom, and she told her mom she was pregnant, I think. And I think the mom was like, when is this going to stop? Are you having these kids? And then Michael told her mom, we're going to, until God tells us to stop, we're going to keep having babies until God says otherwise. And the mom got up and left the table because she was really pissed off. So she doesn't want to tell her mom because her mom gives her the real. Her mom gives her facts and logic, and Justine doesn't want to face facts and logic. She just wants to do whatever the hell she and Michael want to do, and to hell with everybody else. So that's why she hasn't told her mom, because her mom is just too factual and logical for her. She just can't take all of that truth from her mom. Troy and Zaria. So Troy and his mother Karen and his daughter baby Troy and Zaria's son get together to go to the museum, and they have a really good time at the museum. And his mother tells him, you and Yanni and Zaria need to all get together and come up with a parenting plan, because this is just ridiculous how y'all are avoiding talking to each other, and y'all have, there's a child in common, and y'all need to like figure something out. And I think she says it's because she's tired of chaperoning her granddaughter everywhere, because Yanni does not want um her daughter to go to Rochester or wherever they live, wherever Troy lives with Zaria. She doesn't want her daughter to go there alone. She wants somebody else there with her kid because she doesn't trust Troy or Zaria. So the grandma's like, I need to figure something out. So the nonprofit is having a community day, and Troy tells Zaria that he wants his daughter, baby Troy, to be there. Zaria pretends to be mad because I think this whole scene was scripted. She pretends to be upset. And she's like, how could you do this? It's also our anniversary. Why do you want your baby mama to come? Because it's just gonna be a lot of drama. I don't know why you want drama on the day of our anniversary. So he tells Zaria, look, it's a good idea for her to come down here with baby Troy, because then baby Troy can see exactly what her daddy does for a living. And also, Yanni will see how we're living, and maybe she'll be more comfortable with allowing my daughter to come visit me alone. So eventually, Zaria agrees. And that's that. Every scene with Zaria and Yanni to me is so fake. Anyways, that's my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate the time that you spend with me when you're watching my videos. I truly do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, please subscribe to my channel. And I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.